Hey babes, my name's Hannah.
And I'm Chasity.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we are going to be giving you guys book recommendations based on You by Kepnes. So let's get into it.
I am so excited about this one.
Yes.
This book definitely resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
It was so unique and told from the bad guy's point of view that I just thought was really, really cool. So I'd like to start with The Rules of Birkin by Tracy Finlay. I just finished this book.
There's only so much she can say because I'm about 70% through with it.
Yeah, and she came in the house with a ton of questions.
Yes.
And I'm like, nah, I'm not saying anything. This one's definitely told a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, it starts off with a brother and sister, and they have this game called Birkin.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually hide and seek in Swedish, I think they said.
Yes, yes. And they have played it since they were kids. You know, they're now adults, and they kind of just wanted to reminisce a little bit and play a game. And then it turns very serious. It's like third round, loser dies.
Yeah, he says, if I find you, this time I'm gonna kill you.
And he means it.
Yeah, and this book is kind of interesting in the sense that it jumps back and forth from present tense to past tense. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot involved, and I don't want to, this is the part that I don't want to really get into too much, because she's really just getting to the part where you start to figure out a lot of different things.
Because it kind of, basically the whole premise of the book is she has to piece together what in her past made her brother turn out this way, so that she can kind of maybe talk him down. At this point in the book that I'm at, she's trying to talk him down. So. Yeah,
and really, she's the only person that really understands him.
She's the only person that's still around.
Yeah.
It does say say in the synopsis that their mom leaves and their dad is in prison for murder. So I'm not spoiling anything by saying that. So it's just them, and it's been just them for years.
It's a very strange family dynamic,
yeah,
but a wonderful story.
Yes.
And I think her writing is very brilliant. She's very, very good at imagery and details, and I just felt like I was really in the story for this one.
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of special because we're from the Midwest, so reading, you know, a book that was based in Michigan, and a lot of the places that I've been before, like I told her, my aunt actually lives in Traverse City, and Traverse City is referenced a lot in the book, so yeah, it was really cool.
It was definitely, I definitely gave this one 5 stars, and I would definitely recommend it for you if you liked You.
Yeah. So the next book we're going to talk about, I think we've talked about before on this channel. In fact, I know we have. And it's Verity by Colleen Hoover. Now, we picked this, and we said this one was similar to You, just because, to us at least, these two are super unique when it comes to psychological thrillers. I think a lot of the time they can be super formulaic, and these ones aren't. And also, Verity just kind of messes with your brain. And they're about to, you know, what we would perceive as normal everyday people. Like if I met Joe in a bookstore, I would be like, oh, he's a normal person. Yeah. If I met any of the characters in Verity in real life, I would think that they are normal people, but behind closed doors, they are very abnormal people. Yeah. And I think both of these, so basically, I know we've talked about it before, but Verity is about a girl who is a writer who goes to live with this author who she's been in a car accident, right? It's been a while since I've read it. She had been in a car accident and she suffered some severe brain damage and can't write anymore. She really can't do anything. She's bedridden. She can't speak, nothing. And this author goes to finish Verity's last book. Or another one of Verity's books, right?
Yeah, it was 3. There were 3 more to finish in the series.
Yeah, so the last I'm thinking of another one that we're going to talk about later in the video. But and she kind of starts to suspect that Verity is not as brain dead as she is acting, and there's
just so much.
And also in both of these books, the narrator is very unreliable. You don't know who to trust, and you don't know quite what's going on, because everything that's happening is happening from their point of view, and they're both off their rocker. So
I feel that a little bit with The Rules of Birkin too. Yes,
because she's clearly got some, I mean, psychological scars, as anybody would in her position. So it's very interesting. And also all 3 of these main characters have backstories, have some pretty intense backstories that makes them the way that they are. And so it's very character driven. They're all 3 really good books.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd have to agree with all of that.
Yeah.
So the next one that I would recommend, if you liked You, would be Fully Adieu by Cynthia A. Rodriguez. This one I picked because it is kind of told from the bad guy's point of view. I've spoken about this one on the channel before. It is two people that meet inside of an insane asylum and then kind of have a connection, which everyone thinks is kind of weird because Rose just doesn't connect with anyone, and it skips back and forth between Rose and Abel's point of view.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, but again, it's not really reliable. They're both in a mental institution for very different reasons.
Yeah.
And then
they're both in a mental institution, so it's like, how do you trust them?
How do you trust them? What's really happening?
Yeah.
And then they end up escaping, and that's really when the story kind of takes crazy turns. Ooh. And the ending is just very phenomenal. Very, very phenomenal. And again, this is like you can't trust the characters, and then the end is like, oh wow, you really can't trust the characters. But this one I would definitely recommend. It's definitely messes with your mind and very character driven. So same thing. I think I gave that one 5 stars. That was a few months ago that I read that one.
So the next one we're going to talk about is one that I've read but Chasity hasn't, and it is The Ghostwriter by Alexandra Torre, or Alessandra Torre. I can't exactly remember her first name, but this one I really loved. It is similar to you in the sense that the narrator is the one who is, I guess, crazy. It's a long story, and I don't know how much I can talk about without spoiling it, but basically it starts off about, once again, it's an author who hires a ghostwriter, but the main character is the author. She just found out she has a pretty severe brain tumor, and she has, I think, 3 months to live. And so she brings on somebody that she's had major issues with in the past, who writes like trashy romance novels. And she brings this person on to write the last book in her series, or it was not a series, it's this book that she wants to write. It's basically her story. It's her backstory, and it's how she turned out to be the way that she is. And so you kind of, as the reader, find out everything as she's explaining it to this ghostwriter, and that's what I think is super unique about it.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, but it's all from her point of view, so you can tell that whatever has happened in the past has really made her into a really kind of bad, crazy person. And so that's why I kind of think about it when I think about you, because it's kind of similar. You know, you're inside of Joe's mind and you hear his backstory, and then you hear all the crazy thoughts that he has, and so they kind of correlate, I feel. And the ending of The Ghostwriter, literally, I've never felt so heartbroken and so played in my life. Y'all really need to read this. You really need to read this.
I have it.
It's a really good book.
I have it, and I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
It's really high up there on my TBR. So, the next one that I'm going to recommend is Where the Shadow Lies by Cassie Sharp. This was Cassie's debut, and I was blown away. The reason I recommended it, because it is a little bit different than you. It's not told in the point of view of the bad guy. You don't get a whole lot from him. Okay. I think there are a few chapters. I'm having a hard time remembering because it was months ago that I read this. But I think there are a few chapters that you get a glimpse into, like, the bad guy. But so this one's more character driven from the victim's point of view and what has happened in her life. I just think it's very interesting. It was another roller coaster ride for me, and I was just really stunned by the writing. Like, from a debut, it was just amazing for me. I just could not believe how much of a mindfuck it was. It was just amazing. And it was written beautifully.
So the last book we're going to talk about is one that we both read. I read, I think, 2 months ago. You read it last month, I think, right? And it is I Can Be a Better You by Taryn Fisher. This one is similar to you in the sense that it is told from the bad guy's point of view.
We use that loosely.
Yes, because once again, the narrators are super unreliable. And I say that even though it was written, you know, spoiler alert, this is kind of Taryn's story. And so obviously I'm more inclined to believe Jolene because Jolene is Taryn. But, you know, when it switches from Fig's point of view and what's the husband's name?
Darius's
point of view, it's like it's two completely different stories,
Yeah.
and you don't really know who exactly to trust.
It's
and
like,
it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's almost like a story proving the point of like telephone.
What do you mean?
Like when you tell a story to somebody, it always
Yeah.
changes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really kind of interesting to see the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Like it's one situation and three people view it differently.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of just says something about human nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm just going to give a brief description because we've talked about this before. But it's basically about this woman, Fig, who loses her baby through miscarriage and is at the park one day, and she sees a little girl that she believes embodies the soul of her dead daughter, and starts to stalk her and her family and buys a house right next door to them and tries to become best friends with her mom and sleeps with her father. That wasn't her father, was it? I don't think Darius was her father.
Mm-mm. Wait.
No.
No.
It wasn't.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, sleeps with, her husband, and basically just wants to be Jolene. It starts out, it was to get to Mercy, the little girl, and then it takes really dark turns, and once again, the ending. I can't do it with the ending. I texted her and I was like, you need to read this right now because I need somebody to talk to about this.
Yeah. It's a trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trip, and it's something else because it's like it may not be fact for fact of what happened, but it's definitely based off of something that really happened. So that's kind of even scarier.
So bonus book,
one we didn't plan on, but just thought of.
I literally just thought we should talk about The Wives. There's only so much we can say though because it doesn't come out until December.
Yeah. So if you are a fan of you need to pick up this book.
You need to pre-order this book.
Yes. The Wives by Taryn Fisher. It comes out in December.
Yes.
Again, I really don't want to say
we were super lucky and super grateful that we got to read arcs of this book. It was real good.
Yes,
really
thank you to
Edelweiss, something like that. we got an arc through there.
Yes.
Fucking incredible.
What a trip.
My exact Goodreads review said I've been played because I have never in my life just been so shocked when I found something out in a book. And that's all I'm going to say about it because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, and I honestly didn't see it coming.
No. Usually I'm like, oh,
away.
could this happen? No, it probably won't. Oh, it did. That's kind of surprising. Like, it was like, it didn't even cross my mind. I didn't even think that was even a possibility. And I was played.
Yeah.
I was lied to. And that's all I'm going to say.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like, that was just... but that's one that you definitely need to go pre-order.
Yes, if you like once again,
it's an amazing psychological thriller. Just, it's a ride.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for us today. Thank you so much for checking in. Let us know below in the comments if you decide to pick up any of these or if you have any other recommendations for us. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and turn on that notification button so you know when we post. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.